Demonstrative is another important concept in pragmatics. This is more often used to refer to things in various socio, culture, or discourse situations. It may be seen as a group of words which we do employ to refer to things, for example, this, that, these, those. All these words which are used, indexical words which are used to identify certain things or refer to certain things, are known as demonstratives. These demonstrative words are used to create demonstrative expressions while usually employing certain nouns with them. For example, this man, that car, those houses, etc. Demonstratives in real life are usually accompanied with a certain kind of gesture, human gesture. For example, when we say this car, we will signal that car with our hand or with our finger also. And sometimes with gazing at a certain things, you could do that. But roughly speaking, whenever we use a demonstrative in real life, it is generally coupled with some kind of gesture also. As with other indexical terms, the referent of a demonstrator must be known in order to see that which proposition it refers to. In order to identify the exact referent, exact meaning of a demonstrator, we need to identify the referent of that demonstrator. The particular demonstrative used restricts the search for reference. For example, when you say this pen, so that means this pen, this particular pen, and not any other pen. So it restricts our search for the reference. So demonstrative have an important indexical function in all languages. To explain this further, I might say, if you have one book on the table and somebody says this book, it's all right, it's the book which is on the table. But if there are more than one book, and the speaker would usually say this book to the one which is nearer to the speaker, and that book to the one which is not that nearer or which is far away from the speaker. So this is how we change between demonstratives based on various contextual or discourse situations. We could change these demonstrator based on space or the entities we are talking about. In English, we usually, and in some other languages, we have two-way, proximal or distal demonstrative, for example, here and there. But there are some languages in the world in which we may have 3 or 4-way of distal or proximal demonstratives. For space demonstratives are frequently used for discourse dexes also, in order to refer to certain things or point out certain things in a discourse. For example, somebody might say, I'm glad you told me that. That is referring to certain thing in a discourse. Similarly, this is what I'll be talking about today. So this is referring to a certain thing which is obviously available or is being pointed out within a certain discourse. In order to learn them further, we could take a resort to, or we could rely on certain activities. There are many interesting activities which may be generated based on these demonstratives. For example, you could find a partner and give him or her a sentence along with a question. You give him a question and ask him or her to produce an answer to that by using certain relevant demonstrative, and this would obviously make your partner to practice demonstrative. You can do the same drill in your classroom also. Just for the sake of sample, I have just produced one little example here. You can see there is a question, there is a sentence here. She bought a pair of shoes. The shoes were fantastic. This is the information or the sentence which is already there. The question is, which shoes were fantastic? And the answer should be, those shoes which were bought. In this example, you could see that the word those is serving as demonstrative. So there could be multiple similar activities which could be produced in order to make our students or our learners practice demonstratives.